War of necessity, war of choice. What's the difference?
Wars of necessity are when the United States has vital national interests at stake and when there's really no other alternative to the use of force. Wars of choice are just that. The interests tend to be less than vital. More important, we have other policy options rather than an all-out war. There I would put the second Iraq War. We clearly didn't have to do what we did when we do it. And more recently, what we're doing in Afghanistan.
For over a year now, Reapers have been flying 2 separate round-the-clock patrols over Afghanistan. Declassified video shows the deadly effectiveness of the Reaper, a plane that never sleeps with an eye that never blinks. So far this year, Reaper pilots have launched 64 missiles and dropped 7 500-pound bombs in Afghanistan.
What would you say to somebody who thinks maybe this makes airstrikes like this too easy because you're so far removed from the target? I mean, you're here in the comfort of Las Vegas, and he said, you know, it's not like that at all.
Afghanistan was a war of necessity after 9/11. We had to act in order to prevent the second 9/11. But what we're doing now, this very ambitious policy of taking on the Taliban, of nation building, of counterinsurgency, is very much a war of choice.
Gloomy assessments about the Taliban's resurgence in Afghanistan are not new. But this is perhaps the most pessimistic yet.
If we carry on the road we are, the country is slipping from our grasp, most definitely.
She'll claim that the Taliban had a permanent presence across 54% of Afghanistan. This year, the council says that presence has spread to 72% of the country. The Taliban is winning ground and even moving into the capital, Kabul, because it's doing everything better. The Taliban's political, military and economic strategies are now more successful than the West's.
Karzai's regime is corrupt, ineffective, and that, frankly, he's a bit mentally unstable. And yet, in spite of having that information, the administration has embarked on a strategy, a counterinsurgency strategy, that depends on its success, on having a credible Afghan partner, which obviously we know we don't have.
Our so-called partner in Afghanistan, in Kabul, is not really a partner. It's weak, corrupt. We can make things a little bit better while the U.S. military is acting at 100,000. What we can't do is make the improvements stick.
There is no military solution in Afghanistan.
We really now need to start focusing on the non-violent security instruments. That would be education, microfinance, provision of jobs, trying to give angry young men within the country hope.
In parts of Afghanistan, the role of women is going to be rough. In areas that, in the south in particular, where the Pashtuns, a very traditional group, where the Taliban have the greatest inroads, where they're likely to dominate or have heavy influence, I think we've got to be realistic. Things are not going to be great.
What happens to the women when we withdraw? Is that collateral damage?